of murder mystery role-playing games, which are currently all the rage here in China. And Billy Bai, a ski travel vlogger, Malik Naibi, a social media influencer. I'm also joined by Professor Li Jingzhao at Beijing Foreign Studies University. That is our topic. I'm Zhong Shi. I am so excited to have all of you on today because some of you have some of the most coveted jobs with China's younger generation. And some of what you do is so new, we don't fully understand it. And that's right, Yixing. I'm talking about you. So why don't we get started with you here? Tell us how you got into writing for murder, mystery, tabletop games. And is there good money to be made?
Actually, I didn't take the script writer for murder mystery as a lifelong career. I just want to give it a try because after all those games I played and all those detective stories I read.
Because I think for a lot of people, they are facing this same issue too. Should I get into this and make this permanent? Is there sustainability in what I do? Or should I treat this as a temporary gig? That's a good start. Billy, I want to come to you now. I tracked down your account on social media and your videos are exquisite. And by exquisite, I mean, when you ski down that beautiful mountain in Canada, you'd have to have someone to ski behind you and film you skiing down that slope. You obviously have help making these videos, but across the spectrum, other travel vloggers, a lot of them have made it with just a one-man operation, with simple equipment like maybe just a cell phone. So when you look at the contents produced by travel vloggers today, what contents do you think are more likely to go viral?
Well, I think indeed a smartphone or GoPro now can make you a vlogger, but I would say beside the camera, I think topic are quite the most important part. I mean, some video you see me like ski down from the slope is really excited, like someone follow you by the camera, make the camera or the video more vivid. But actually, I think find a good topic and dig it well can make your video special and fun. I mean, don't think too much about the camera editing skills. I think I just want to just make some unique topics more important to the nowadays, especially nowadays there's a lot of the short video platform like TikTok. I think the trend is very important.
Malik, I want to come to you now. We've introduced you as a social media influencer. Is that title maybe too vague for you? How would you describe what you do and who you are?
Yeah, thank you for first of all, thank you for having me. It's an interesting question. I don't really see social media influencer as an occupation. I see that more of a identity. It's something that I will have for I think a really long period of time, but at the same time I could have a lot of other occupation. I could be an entrepreneur and a social media influencer. I could be a restaurant owner, but at the same time a social media influencer. So for me, it's just part of my lifestyle and part of my personal identity. And my work is basically showing my opinion or my experience on things. And so I have a lot of people who are influenced by my ideas and my attitude towards life, and also my ideas towards certain issue or objects. So it's a really interesting title or occupation or a personality to have.
But is it a job for you, or is it something on the side that you do just for the fun, just for your passion?
Well, honestly, I couldn't find a job that pays higher than what I do as a social media influencer. So in terms of that, I would definitely see it as a job for sure, because it generates profit. At the same time, it takes up a good portion of my time, and also it's basically, I would say I spend half of my time creating content. So I would say it's a job, but for a lot of people, job is is something that like you can only have one job, right, at a time. But for social media influencer, you can have multiple at a time. So like basically it's a part-time job for me. I think that's the correct way to describe it.
All right, Professor Lee, we've met all of our guests who have unconventional, new, exciting jobs that are admired by a lot of China's young people. When you listen to them talk about their jobs, in your hearts, have you been nodding your head thinking, good for you, way to go, get it? Or have you been shaking your head a little bit thinking, no guys, this is not a career, this is just a temporary gig?
Well, I think what Malik has shared with us can indicate a new challenge for scholars of labor and work, because now we see this blurring boundary of career, occupation, or job, or identity. So it's a mixture of multiple dimensions. And I think that all these guests, they belong to the new generation. We call them the digital generation. And this, in human history, this generation is the first and only generation who has a more knowledge and technical skills than the earlier generations. So I think there is a great potential for some of these part-time jobs or identity to turn into lifelong careers, especially those occupations or temporal identities that are associated with new technology, with green industry, and with aging industry. So above all, I think the jobs associated with online media and also with consumption-based services have great potential in turning into new careers.
Yixing, I know you said that writing for murder mystery games is just a temporary job for you. But if someone comes up to you and say, you know, I like playing these games, I want to get into writing for them, what type of people do you think will be a right fit for this job?
First of all, you have to understand what murder mystery is, and you've read a lot of stories, not only the detective story. If you're gonna be a script writer in the field of murder mystery, you gotta know how to create a story that grab people's attention, and some like game mechanism, that how you can bring players together to cooperate and compete with each other. So it's more like a game designer rather than the traditional script writer. Yeah.
Billy, what about you? What is vlogging for you now? Is it something that you can commit 100% to, or out of financial considerations, you're going to have to maybe juggle multiple things at a time?
Well, I think like before I decide to become a full-time like vlogger, it takes me like 5 years to work in the travel industry. So I already have like a pretty stable job. Like I do tailor-made travel and design some like travel destination journey like for the high-end people. And then I decide to move on to become a full-time vlogger. And so far I think it's already become like just one job for me. Already have like pretty good income from the advertisement or the other video I make, like cooperation with the brand. So so far it can support my travel and skiing expense. So now I don't have other like jobs to support this. So but it takes it takes me like 5 to 10 years to finally come to this step. I think like for people who want to become like to have one stable jobs, like these kind of new careers, like support their whole life. I mean, it could be takes quite a long time to finally to this step. But if you don't already have enough income, I think like if you have like some major job, like just doing like support your hobby, like as a like part-time job, I think is pretty good.
Professor Lee, as you've heard, all of our other guests have been quite careful, I should say, not reckless, in venturing into this newer, more unconventional job that they have right now. How much do you think stability is an issue, is a factor in their decision-making process?
As we can see from all of our three practitioners of new careers or new occupations, they did not venture into this new career out of a spur of a moment. It was years of accumulation. So whatever new industry or new occupation you are getting into, you have to invest yourself. So we can see obviously that they have economic capital, meaning they are available, they are ready, or they are available with a kind of a leading sum of money, and also they have this social capital, because they already know the circle, or they know associated careers, for instance, acting, for instance, travel industry. So apart from economic capital and social capital, they have invested a lot in the cultural capital. So if you have these three capitals ready, then you can think about stepping into the new career for a venture.
You're watching Dialogue. We're going to take a short break. Welcome back to Dialogue. Malik, we were talking about it was a good idea to maybe have a plan B on the side if what you're trying doesn't work out. I know you wanted to add on to that point.
Yeah, I think my previous answer was sounded a little too conservative. I actually advocate most young people to definitely go and try out social media industry or streaming industry. And I want to clarify that being a social media influencer and a streamer isn't the only job that's available in this industry. This is a really rewarding industry. At the same time, it's developing really fast, and it needs a lot of people who has ambition and also you don't really need an experience. You don't really need a degree to be in this industry. For example, you need there are jobs like operations. There are jobs like live stream operator and SOE managers, right? And a lot of jobs like that. And also it's the pay is much higher than a lot of other common jobs like accountant or some of the more formal jobs.
You're talking about them doing this job full time, not being an influencer maybe, but doing this job full time. You think that is a rewarding profession also?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I really advocate young people to look into this industry. It's really rewarding, and there are a lot of full-time opportunity. And also those skill sets could be transferred into some of the formal marketing industry or advertisement industry. So don't worry, if you want to go try it out.
When you say you don't need experience, you don't need expertise, what do they need if this is an area, this is a sector that they want to try?
Yeah. First of all, I want to explain why, because this industry has only, been existed for 4 or 5 years now. So it's hard to find a person with 10 years of experience in this industry. So companies, when they recruit, they tend to hire people with, first of all, ambition, and also really sensitive about information and new trend. If you're the person, you're online all the time, you know about all the trends, and you know what young people want and like, this might be a good job for you. And also if you're creative, that's a plus.
All right, Billy, let me come back to you. I mean, we talked about stability. I also want to talk a little bit about sustainability. Are you worried about the vlogging as a trend go out of fashion in the future? Do you think this is something that has sustainability in it? What you do, the interests of your followers, will that sustain in the long term, Billy?
I mean, of course, what I'm doing is trying to, before the pandemic, I'm trying to snowboarding or skiing all over the world. So try to see different countries, different resort, different continent even. So I'm trying to do different kind of skiing way. So like the leisure way or hardcore way, like we hiking or we just cruise down in the resort. So I'm trying to create different content. So like because the followers actually they have different habits or different topic they want to see. So I'm trying to develop myself as I mean, like more suitable for the public. So I'm trying to try different things. But same thing, I'm kind of worried about, like for example, like during the pandemic, like we couldn't travel. So for example, this season I'm trying to see more the resort in China, and especially now is the Winter Olympic time. So I'm trying to find out what is more like suitable for this season. So for example, like some content related to Winter Olympics, or some like content that relate to the Chinese resort travel like information. So it's more important for me at this moment. So I'm trying to stay with the trend, because like that's what we should do as an influencer or as a streamer, as a blogger. All the important things is very, as the Malik said, very sensitive to information. I have to know nowadays what people are watching, what they want to know. So that's gonna be the topic you should be like build.
Professor Li, let's talk about stability versus sustainability, because these newer jobs that our guests have, in terms of stability, which is a very popular concept in Chinese thinking, we all want stable jobs. In terms of stability, they don't hand you a paycheck at the end of the month. The more important issue is about sustainability. Malik said this sector that he strongly advised other people to try in has only existed for 5 years. Who knows how long it can survive, how long the vibe is there, how long the momentum is there. What would you say to young people that have a desire to try some of these newer jobs? How much weight should they give to the sustainability of their new career?
Well, there are two different ways you can think about the sustainability. First of all, is the sustainability of the career as a new type of occupation itself. Is it listed? Is it recognized by the China's classification of occupation system? If it's not, and if it's popular and over 5,000 people engaging in this career, to assure sustainability, you can file an application to ask the government agencies to invest to find out the future of this new job or new career and get it officially recognized or endorsed. The second way of sustainability is like, for instance, in social media, the bloggers or the influencers as a job will last for a significant period of time. But in this new social media, there is a very high turnover of followers' attentions. So I think in this aspect, the popular bloggers or the popular influencers need the new career of a career planner or financial consultant to sit down and to discuss your possible financial safety network and your future situation if you want to stay in the same career. So at social level and at personal level.
Malik, I just want to press you on that advice you give to young people. If they're interested in this sector, they should give it a try. But we know every job change comes with risks, and the risks here, if they want a streaming job, on camera or off camera, is that if it doesn't work out over a certain period of time, they might not necessarily have the expertise or the experience for them to move back to a more conventional job. How should they prepare for those possibilities, for the risks that come with moving into a newer sector, a newer profession that maybe has not been tested and tried over time?
First of all, my opinion is, as long as you're working in the private sector, there's no job seen as a stable job. Look at programmers; they were seen as a stable job, but you know, a lot of them get kicked out when they're 35 in the big internet companies. So first of all, I would say if you're still in college or if you're fresh out of college, do internships, right? You do part time. Give yourself 3 months to 6 months to try it out. Find an opportunity to have that insight. And also, social media is something that you can start on your own. You don't really have to join a company or necessarily get a job to do it. So you can still get a conventional job, but at the same time, you know, you lose maybe some of your sleeps, but you start, you know, building up your accounts or your live stream room. Try it out first. So we call it minimal viable product in startups. So yeah, like find a way to test it. See if it's for you. Yeah.
Yixing, something tells me you are a free spirit and a risk taker. What is your take on the risks, on the possibility for failure when it comes to trying out some of those more unconventional jobs?
You know, when I was still an investor in venture capital, my boss once told me that he never thought of he would become an investor when he was younger. So we always try to predict the future, but the truth is the futures cannot be predicted. So those in the career you think would be stable may not be that stable. So for me, I just think the most important moment is right now. I just think more of the present time and to grab every opportunity I can. So that's what I think.
You are seizing the moment. Billy, what about you?
Of course, like it takes me sometimes to calculate about the risk of the failure, but I mean, for me it's easy because by the time like doing the ski content or like winter sport content in China was really really small people to doing that. So I already by the time, because like during the time when I work in the travel industry, I already like start to create or generate content. So by the time I already have some followers, so already also get some like income. So like easy for me to calculate the number. And for me, I think like even I take like 6 months or 1 year, like a gap year, I can be like, I can take that risk. So, I mean, all this comes to number, but if that thing doesn't work out, I can always come back to the industry. So because for me, I have some strengths, like expertise, like in the travel industry. So I believe I can always find a formal or like, I don't know, like a job. So if I want, but if I move to like a full-time blogger or vlogger on the winter sport, I mean, I can see a new career like path that no one like willing to do. So for me, it's like a brand new like path. So I mean, I have to take the risk, but when you take the risk, you can also find there's a huge opportunity because like not so many people want to take the risk to step on that. So that means a big opportunity.
Professor Lee, let's talk about this phenomenon. Today's young people are obviously more willing to take risks, but can they really afford it? This recent Gallup report on the millennials reveals that 21% of millennials say they've changed jobs within past years, which is more than 3 times the number of non-millennials who report the same. People are obviously more mobile. They're acting on a whim sometimes, but how do you think they should protect themselves from unnecessary risks that are associated with newer professions, newer sectors?
Yeah, I think now we have the higher percentage of young people being more mobile in seeking employment and in transferring their jobs is because there are a lot of new jobs appearing. So this is a very special moment of fast development of smart technology and consumer society. So they are able to find new jobs. So to a certain extent, they have privilege. That's why they are able to be mobile. On the other hand, I think, yeah, you are right. They should not they should be more prepared. So they should at least do their own risk analysis of pros and cons of stepping away from available employment and venturing into new fields. And I want to emphasize social support, or the support of the social network of their maybe significant others or generalized others close to them. So I want to ask the three successful cases here, how much family support or social support they tapped into at their beginning of their online careers or of their script writing industry. So how much family support or social network support?
Can we do that, Bali? Can we indulge Professor Lee's question? Did you have extra support and help when you started out?
Yes, I think I'm a really lucky case. My first ever video got me 100,000 followers overnight. So for me, it was like I had a good start and also a good financial return on that. So my family they're really simple when it comes to making decisions. If you can live on your own, then it's a right decision. So I did have a lot of support from the family, but I do know people need to like really have to make a peace with their family to pursue a career in social media. I know it's not for everybody, and we all have different situations in family.
Billy, what about you?
I think like support from family is very important to me because I learned snowboarding in France when I studied there. So by that time, my family, my parents, they know that's the kind of the thing I love and want to devote to my whole life to doing it. So when the first time I told them I want to become a full-time like blogger on winter sport, they say, okay, if this the thing you want to do, like you love to do it, like they saying like you have to like to follow your heart. I think it's very important. And also like I tell them the truth, like if I like to analyze the strengths, weakness, like potential opportunity, they think it's pretty good because by that time China already been having the hold for the 2022 Winter Olympic. Everyone can see there's gonna be a ski boom in China, so everyone can see it's a good thing in the future. So I'm pretty lucky to get my parents' support. I think it's very important for me.
Last but not least, Yixing, your take on family and outside help?
When my parents find that I can make a living and maybe gain more than the previous job, they suggest me to take on they say, okay, that's fine. So they finally accept the fact that I can take good care of myself.
All right, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. As someone who is holding down a very conventional job in television, I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. And if we're being honest, I've been tempted to maybe try some of what you do, guys. Thank you so much for your time, analysis, and expertise. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching Dialogue today. I'm Zhong Shi.